Good morning. You're up early. That's fine. Hope you had a good night and not a bad one. Thanks, Dongun. You too. Have a good night, I guess. Sleep well. Ciao, ciao. Oh, you're gonna go to the gym. Oh, okay. Oh, Yoshimi Heyo. That's tough, man. The goal, Marla's voice says, is to cross the River Run finish line this November. The shot swings around to behind us, running, zeroing in on my leg. But for a young woman with a handicap of her own, pushing 100 pounds along 10 miles is not something that can be done on a whim. A series of clips of me, running with the sandbags through Old Town, waving at the garbage collector as he calls my name, working in the weight room at school, and doing speed work on the track. All of it has Marla's commentary over it. Then she asks, "So, what, in a nutshell, is the cause Jessica and Rosa are running for?" Quite simply, it's to have people see them, not their condition. And then there's footage of me saying, "That's all anybody with a disability wants. Don't sum up the person based on what you see or what you don't understand. Get to know them." Then they switch back to the studio, where Marla and Kevin are behind the news desk. "The river run is in 2 short weeks," Marla says, looking into the camera as she winds up the story. "We'll be there live, and we hope you'll join us in cheering for Rosa." "And Jessica," Kevin adds. Marla smiles. "And Jessica," Kevin adds. Marla smiles. They're quite a team. They're quite a team. After the TV's clicked off, Mom stares at me. Dad stares at me. Kaylee, who's been texting the whole time, says, "I thought you were crazy before, but I get it now." And I stare at her, because the funny thing is, that's exactly how I feel. Chapter 11. I know where the graveyard is. I can see the tall. I know where the graveyard is. I can see the taller grave markers from one of the streets on the River Run route. Sometimes, if I'm concentrating on my form or my time, I don't notice that I've run past it. But today, I'm not thinking about those things. I'm thinking about Lucy. I turn off the main street and find the graveyard entrance. It's Sunday mid-morning, and the air is still cool and crisp, but the bordering trees have left a carpet of leaves beneath them. Red, reds, browns, yellows. They give the grounds a warm, cozy look. I park the wheelchair beside a tree and keep Sherlock at heel as we wander among the graves. It takes me some time, but I find her. Lucy Sanders, our angel. Hi, Lucy, I begin. It's me, Jessica. But I've never spoken to a grave before. I don't know what to say. I don't know how. I'm so sorry, I joke out. But that's as far as I get before I start crying. I feel bad that she's gone. I feel overwhelmed. And I feel guilt. Guilt that I've recovered. Guilt that I'm happy. Guilt that I ever thought she was the lucky one. I can't get the words out, so I just cry. Jessica? The voice startles me. It's soft, female, and seems to be right in my ear. But it's not the ghost of Lucy, it's a woman. At first, I think it's someone who's seen me on TV, and I want to snap, leave me alone. Can't you see I'm crying here? But then I realize that I do know her. She's more gray and frail, but I recognize her from last year's track meets, and she is carrying flowers. Mrs. Sanders? She gives me a warm smile. She gives me a warm smile. She gives me a warm smile. It's so nice of you to remember Lucy. Oh, I'll never forget Lucy, I say, and a flood of tears comes forward. She wraps an arm around me. Aren't you sweet? Then, after I've composed myself a little, she smiles again and says, Your father has been very helpful. He has? I ask. She nods. We would never have had the strength to pursue a settlement without him. She strokes my arm. Your situation is more complicated, I know, but it looks like we've reached an agreement. We're thinking about setting up a scholarship fund in Lucy's name, something like that. Oh, I say, nodding. That would be nice. Congratulations on your recovery, she says. I see you on the news. I see you on the news a lot. Thanks, I say softly. And after a few more pleasantries, I leave so she can deliver the flowers she's brought. And after a few more pleasantries, I leave so she can deliver the flowers she's brought and talk to her daughter in peace. Chapter 12. School seems almost e- School seems almost easy this year. Not having math helps, but I think that anything would feel easy compared to last year. There's no work to make up, I just have to keep up. Plus, now that I'm walking on my new leg, people really do seem to forget that there's something different about me. I'm still very I'm still very aware of it, but other people treat me like I'm normal. The big exception is Meryl. I'm in two classes with her, and she always gives me the evil eye from afar. I try to ignore her, but it's a little unnerving to have someone stare at you that hard for that long. She's on her third boyfriend since Gavin, so I don't know what her problem is with me, but today she actually comes up to me. He's only going out with you because she feels He's only going out with you because he feels sorry for you, she whispers as she invades my personal space on a crass she whispers as she invades my personal space on a classroom ramp. You're like his community service project. I'm stunned, and the truth is, her comments cut deep. I have no zinger to fire back. I just watch as she hurries away. Later, when I tell Fiona about it, she grabs me by the arm and says, "Do not even for a second believe that. She's just shallow and insanely jealous, not to mention cruel." I hear her words, but Meryl's voice still echoes in my head. Finally, I break down and tell Gavin, who's sweet and comforting and assures me that there's absolutely no truth to it. Still, it's disturbing how fast weeds take root in my garden of worthiness. They're so hard to pull and grow back so easily. Chapter 13. It's Thursday, 3 days before the river run. According to Kiro's workout schedule, I'm supposed to be tapering, doing easier, shorter runs, but I'm starting to panic. I I just don't feel ready. After school, Kiro sends the cross-country runners off through the back hills, so I stay on the track alone. "How are you feeling?" "How are you feeling?" he asks. He asks me as I'm stretching out after some warm-up laps. "You ready for the big day?" "You ready for the big day?" "No," I confess. "Actually, I'm worried that I'm going to let everyone down. I can do the 10 miles, but the farthest I've pushed 100 pound is 5, and 5 was hard." "You'll be fine," he assures me. "I'm not saying it'll be easy, but race day magic will carry you through." I shake my head. "Race day magic?" "You'll see. And the whole team will be out at the water stations. They'll keep you moving and get you anything you need." I shake out my arms. I know it's from nervous energy, because it's what I used to do before getting down in the blocks for a 400-meter race. I shake them out some more. In 3 days, I'll be facing over 16,000 meters. In 3 days, I'll be facing over 16,000 meters. Suddenly, rigor mortis bend doesn't seem so daunting. It's as though Kiro can read my mind. "You need to unload some of that nervous energy. Why don't you take a lap?" So I start down the straightaway. I'm the only I'm the only runner on the track, and after the first 100 meters, I find a rhythm. I don't push, I just glide. It's taken some time, but I've gotten used to the sound from my running foot and the way it's paired with the quieter swish of my natural foot. Wing, swoosh, wing, wing, whoosh, wing, whoosh. The cadence of it is pleasant to me now, and this spin around the track feels easy, heavenly. I join Kiro at our unofficial start and re enter the world. "Watch your arms," he says. "They're crossing over." I laugh. "You are such a coach, coach. I was just cruising." He eyes me, and it seems like he wants to say something, but he's back. Finally, he says, "Well, don't forget your form. Bad habits are easy to find and hard to break." I scoff. You laugh. "Okay, well, give me a real one this time." "You're serious?" I ask. "Sure." He draws a line in the dirt with his heel. He draws a line in the dirt with his heel. "Let me see some good form." He's being silly, but he's my coach, and since the last lap around the track felt so good, I take a few minutes to fully recover, then step up to the line. "Runners, take your mark," I announce, doing a friendly little mock of him. Runners, take your mark, I announce, doing a friendly little mock of him. Set, pow! Wing, whoosh, wing, whoosh. I start down the stretch, my arms pumping. Good form, smooth form, glide, glide, I say in my head. My breathing's easy, my rhythm's good. I push, pump, focus. My peripheral vision vanishes. It's all tunnel vision now. Wing, whoosh, wing, whoosh. My hands open as I pump my arms. They slice the air, open a channel for me, cut me through space. Wing, whoosh, wing, whoosh. I keep in form and push toward the second curve. Wing, whoosh, wing, whoosh. I approach rigor mortis bend and push through it. My legs burn, but there's still power in them. Lots of power. Wing, whoosh, wing, whoosh. I sprint for the finish line, keeping my arms pumping straight and my legs in line, and just for show, I cross with a little lean forward. I wind down, then trot back to Kiro. So, I ask, any any bad habits we need to break? His head shakes his head shakes slightly from side to side, but he's looking at me funny, and his dark skin seems pale. I ask, You're not even breathing hard, he says quietly. I notice he's right. I've already largely recovered. Well, I laugh. It's not like it was a race or anything. Exactly, he says. No blocks, no competition. He produces a stopwatch. He produces a stopwatch from inside his windbreaker pocket. The Lucy bracelet is still around his wrist, faded and frayed, but still there. You clocked me? After that first lap, I was curious. You seemed really strong. I'd better be strong, I say with a laugh. I've got to push 100 pounds 10 miles on Sunday. Well, all that training has made you really strong. He holds the watch out towards me, demanding that I look. You just ran a 60.2 without even trying. I blink at the digits. Wow. His face has its color back, and there's a mischievous grin forming that quickly turns into a laugh. A deep, wonderful laugh. One I haven't heard in ages. One that means he's got plans for track season. Big plans. Chapter 14. It's race day. Or more like run day? I don't care about my time, I just want to finish. The air is perfect, clear and crisp, but not too cold. We're all a little nervous, penned up in the holding area, but it's a good nervous. There's an awesome vibe in the air. Runners warming up, sipping coffee, chatting. It's 7 in the morning, but everyone here is awake. I'm anxious to get going, but we still have 15 minutes to wait. Kira's plan has Kiro's plan had me not run at all for 2 days, and now I'm champing at the bit. My body needs to run. My nerves need something to do. Gavin hugs me and laughs. You're like a filly at the starting gate. I whinny, which makes him laugh again. He looks into my eyes and smiles. This is the most amazing day ever. You know that? I can't believe you're here. I can't believe I'm here. He moves an arm out. Look at all these people. I laugh because he's definitely got race day fever. I laugh because he's definitely got race day fever. Or maybe this is what Kiro meant by race day magic. It's just exciting to be here. There don't seem to be any other teens in the holding area. Some college kids, maybe, but it's mostly adults, and some of them are gnarled and weathered seniors. Tough old birds. I'm a palindrome, Rosa says about her 393 race number. She looks cozy in the wheelchair, with a turtleneck under her t shirt, mittens on her hands, and a blanket over her lap. I laugh and flash her my 369 race bib. Yeah, and I'm a magical mathematical Yeah, and I'm a magical mathematical bleh. Yeah, and I'm a magical mathematical progression. I've never had a race bib before, but I like it. I've also never had a timing chip strapped to my shoe, but I like it too. They make me feel official. Best of all, though, I like our t shirts. Kiro helped Fiona with them, and they came out great. They're white with big maroon letters that say Root for Rosa on the front and Team Rosa on the back. Rosa is a little different. Hers says, Hello, I'm Rosa. Kiro informed us that all the cross country helpers are wearing Team Rosa shirts today. They'll also have energy gels for you at the water stops. They'll also have energy gels for you at the water stops, he told me. Be smart, stay hydrated, and keep your fuel up. Fiona and the others decide against carrying signs, but they did make pendant flags for the wheelchair that say, Root for Rosa and Thank you. Our setup looks awesome. Plus, the boys and Rosa have clappers, and Fiona's got a horn. We definitely look like a celebration. I'll be right back. I'll be right back, Mario says, handing his clapper to Fiona as he heads off to wait in a porta potty line. Fiona shakes her head because it's his fourth. Fiona shakes her head because it's his fourth trip since we arrived. He's nervous? I ask, and suddenly I'm thinking I could use a trip to the bathroom myself. But there's a woman approaching us. She's wearing a Team Rosa shirt, but she's not a cross country runner. She's a math teacher. Miss Rucker? Fiona and I say together. She's wearing running shorts and tightly laced yellow and black Sauconies, and a racing bib, number 27. But it's her bare legs that are but it's her bare legs that are somehow shocking to see. Hi, girls, she says. I just wanted to wish you good luck. You're a runner? Fiona asks. Miss Rucker gives her a little shrug. In my private life, yes. Wow, Fiona says. I'm noticing Miss Rucker's watch. It's a serious runner's watch, and her shorts have little pouches built in. I can see the tops of energy gels peeking out from both sides of her hips. I wonder how she calculates her pace, with her watch or with her brain. I wonder if she thinks in numbers the whole way, if she counts her steps. But despite all the indications that she's a machine, her shirt isn't made of that fancy sweat wicking technical fabric that would be on par with the rest of her gear. It's cotton and more than just a little too big. Thanks for wearing the t shirt, I tell her. She smiles at me. She smiles, first at me, then at Rosa. It's an amazing sight. Warm and a little bit shy. Proud to wear it, she says, then moves away. Run strong, she says. I'll see you at the finish line. I watch her go. Run strong. I dis- I decide right there that that'll be my mantra for this race. I'll All runners to the start, someone announces over a portable PA. 5 minutes. Gavin checks his watch and says, maybe I should hunt down Mario? We crane our necks, checking the porta potty lines, and after about a minute of waiting, we're all getting antsy. Everyone in the holding area is moving toward the street. Then suddenly there he is. Sorry, he says. We ready? Fiona laughs. Yeah, let's go, Gavin says, leading us toward the street. This is so exciting, Rosa says as I roll her along. I laugh because we're all like little wind up toys straining at the springs. A runner calls, Go, Rosa! As he jogs back. A runner calls, Go, Rosa! As he jogs by us. Thanks! Thanks, she calls back. Then she looks over her shoulder and says, Go, Jessica! We position ourselves at the back of the pack, near a group of men wearing grass hats with hula skirts over their running shorts. 1 minute, the announcer calls. My heart speeds up. I feel suddenly lightheaded. And then there's the pop of the starting gun. It's time. Chapter 15. It's the strangest start to a race I've ever experienced. There's no shooting from the blocks, no arm pumping, no push or strain. There are hundreds of runners in front of us, and we're barely even jogging as we move forward. It takes nearly 2 minutes for us to reach the starting mat. The mat is broad and rubbery, runs the full width of the street, and makes a chirping sound as it recognizes each runner's timing chip. Chirp, 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 chirp. It's like hyperactive twittering of mechanical checks. And then we're off. I know from having run the course in training that the first 2 miles are slightly downhill, which makes the beginning of the run really enjoyable. People cheer for us, and Rosa waves and clacks her clappers in the air and calls hi and thank you. I see Mom and Dad and Kaylee and Sherlock at the sideline, and Kiro is there too, cheering us on. You are doing great, Gavin says at the 2 mile mark. He's checking his watch. 9:30 splits. I know this is way too fast, but I feel great and figure we'll slow down now that the downhill is behind us. Splits, I snort, then grin at him. You have become such a runner. I lean forward a bit. How are you doing, Rosa? Great! Who knew I could run this fast? She says with a laugh. She looks over her shoulder. I am loving this. How are you? Great, I call back. And it's true. I feel amazing. The course is basically U-shaped. It starts near the It starts near the river outlets, then passes by retail shops and commercial properties before moving through newer residential developments, older houses, farmland, and then just fields. The halfway point is the Queensland Drawbridge, which arches over the river, and then the course winds back toward, and then the course bleh, and then the course winds back toward the historic settlement houses and into Old Town. The finish is about half a mile past Old Town. Since I've run the route during training, I know the easiest stretch is behind us. I need to conserve. And in the back of my mind, I'm saying, slow down. There's no way you should be running 9:30s. And but I don't want to slow down. I am having a great time. The crowds are thick. People are cheering like crazy for Rosa and for me. There she is. There's that girl. Go, Jessica. Go, Rosa. Mario and Gavin flap their clappers through the air, and Fiona toots her horn. Thank you, Rosa calls back and waves like she's in parade, which I guess in a way she is. As we pass through the residential section, the crowds thin out. There are only small pockets of people. There are only small pockets of people now. They call from their porches or they call from their porches or stand on the sidewalks and tell runners, "You're looking good. You're doing great. Keep it up." Then the small pockets of people vanish as we run along the road through farmland. There are some cows, but they don't moo, let alone cheer. At first, it's picturesque. The course has leveled out. The trees are lovely, and the river looks serene. But I'm very relieved to spot our. But I'm very relieved to spot for the. But I'm spot our mile 4 pit crew and the. But I'm very relieved to spot our mile 4 pit crew, and it worries me. Why am I this fatigued? It's Lindsay Griggs and it's Lin. It's Lindsay Griggs and Chandel Norwood at the water station, and Lindsay is bouncing up and down her and Lindsay is bouncing up and down in her Team Rosa t-shirt. There they are! There they are! She cries. Looking good, Chandel says, handing me a cup of Gatorade. Thanks. I gulp the Gatorade and accept an energy gel. You're almost halfway, Lindsay says. You're doing great. We press on, and I squeeze the gel into my mouth a little at a time as I run. We press on, and I squeeze the gel into my mouth a little as we press on, and I squeeze the gel into my mouth a little. We press on, and I squeeze the gel into my mouth a little at a time as I run. It tastes like chocolate frosting, and it revives me a little. When I'm done, Gavin takes my empty pouch from me and asks, You doing okay? I nod, but it's only half hearted. What's our pace? 10:30's at the 4 mile mark. You're kidding. He shakes his head. No wonder. I can't keep this up. It's killing me. He immediately drops back the pace. Hey, he calls up to Fiona and Mario. We've got to ease up a little. Fiona falls in beside me. What's hurting? I'm okay, I tell her. I keep my voice low so Rosa can't hear. I've only run this weight 5 miles before, and it took me about an hour. That's like 12s, and we're doing 10:30's. Fiona slows down even more. This better? I nod. But it's strange. It's like the damage is done and slowing down isn't undoing it. My breathing won't fall into a comfortable rhythm. My hips have an unfamiliar ache to them, and my arms feel very heavy. When we reach the crest, when we reach and crest the Queensland drawbridge, I am immensely relieved. Halfway there, halfway there, Fiona says, pepping me along. And a bit and a bit of downhill, I say, grateful with the wheel. The mile 6 water stop is in the middle of the mile 6 water stop is in the middle of nowhere, an oasis, an oasis in a desert of dried grass. And and what's even better than the oasis is that Annie and Giselda are working the station. There they are, Giselda cries. Come and get it, you crazy people, Annie shouts. Crazy doesn't even begin to describe it. They're nuts. Wackos. A running and rolling insane asylum. Amen. We all laugh. We all laugh and get our cups. I actually don't feel like drinking, but I don't. I actually don't feel like drinking, but I hear Kiro's voice in my head. Be smart, stay hydrated, and keep your fuel up. So I drink, and I take an energy gel, and I press on. 6 miles, I tell myself. Only 4 to go. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. It feels a little fuzzy in my head, like I've got the wrong number of ones. Like I'm so fatigued that I am, like I'm so fatigued that I can't even count 4. Like I'm so fatigued that I can't even count to 4. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. And somewhere in my fuzzy mind, I make a connection. That's how everything is done. 1 by 1 by 1 by 1. That's how I got through losing a leg. Minute by minute by minute by minute. Hour by hour by hour by hour. Day by day by day by day. That's how anybody makes it through anything. So I dig in and decide that's how I'll face the miles ahead. 1 by 1 by 1 by 1. Something in that makes the pain easier to take, makes the effort easier to endure. And then the and then near the 7 mile mark, I realize we're passing by the cemetery. I think about seeing Lucy's mom there the other morning. I think about her making it through what had to be the hardest days of her life. How she had to take the minutes, the hours, the days, the months, one by one by one by one. Suddenly, I'm grateful that the ones I'm counting off are miles. Miles I'm able to run. Miles I'm able to run. Miles I asked for. Miles I've worked hard for. Miles I've worked hard to face. My ones are a distance between me and my ones are a distance between me and victory, not days between me and tragedy. Fiona's in step beside me, and I pant out, Lucy, and nod up to the cemetery. Oh, she says, and her face crinkles with sadness. We miss you, Lucy, I call up the hill. We miss you, Lucy, Fiona calls too. All of us glance at one another. Then together we shout, We miss you, Lucy! The next stretch brings us back into neighborhoods. The next stretch brings us back into neighborhoods. There aren't a lot of people out, but those who are loud and happy. Like the coffee has kicked in and the clapping is keeping them warm. Go, Rosa! They shout, and then they realize that they've seen us on TV. Hey, you're the girls! Good for you! You show 'em! Go, 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 go! Mario and Gavin start up with their clappers again, and Rosa waves and giggles and shouts. And Rosa waves and giggles and shouts, "Thank you!" to everyone who cheers for us and keeps me going by calling to me over her shoulder, "This is the best day of my life." With each block, the crowds get thicker. People are out on their balconies getting an aerial view. Rosa waves and clicks her clappers, but I'm slumping again, and my hips are killing me. Mile 8, Gavin calls, pointing ahead. 2 to go, I tell myself. One and one more. I drink at the aid station, but only water. And although I try to eat the energy gel, I can't stomach it. The crowds grow noisier, but I turn inward. I feel like I've hit the rigor mortis bend of the river run. It's only 2 more miles, but it's payback time for the first 2 miles. Every step from here on is a slight incline. Every step from here on is at a slight incline. People are shouting my name, Rosa's name. I see familiar faces. I see my dad, my mom, Kaylee and her friends. How did they get there? I wave, I smile, but I don't really have the energy to do either. Sounds are murky. They're having trouble marking it through the pounding from inside. Sounds are murky. They're having trouble making it through the pounding from inside. I'm vaguely aware that we're passing people, runners who are now walking. But we're being passed, too, by men in grass skirts. It's okay, I tell myself. You're doing great. Run strong, run strong, run strong. I don't even see the 9 mile marker as we go by. Gavin points it out. Only one to go, he calls, but it's like a ghost whispering in my ear. My legs are lead. My arms ache. My hips are cramping. Demand- my hips are cramping, demanding I stop. Especially my left one. It's an agonizing knot of pain. And my stump, it's hot, wet, angry. Run strong, run strong, run strong. But I'm living step to step. I start counting them. I get to 50 and start over, step by step by step by step. A young girl runs out from the crowd, touches me, and dashes away before I even know she's been there. Go, Jessica! I hear people shout. Rosa! 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 They chant. Then Fiona shouts, There it is! I know what she means. I look up, look out. There's a red and white balloon arch only 50 yards ahead. The finish line! The finish line! Rosa cries. The finish line! I try to soak in the happy sounds of her voice, the ecstatic clacking of her clapper. I try to remember why I did this. Rosa! 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 Jessica! Jessica! I dig in, dig deep. The cheering helps me find a hidden reserve. The balloon arch is growing large. The crowd louder, larger, louder. I manage a weak wave. I manage a weak wave, a smile, and then with a chirp, 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 we've crossed over. Over the finish line. I'm aware that people are taking pictures. I'm aware that the news crew is there. I'm aware that Rosa is in seventh heaven. The random strangers are talking to her and treating her like a friend. It was great, thank you, she's telling them as a race day helper cuts the chime. She's telling them as a race day helper cuts the timing chip off my shoe. I'm aware that my family and Kiro are there telling me how proud they are. I'm aware that we're all making our way over to Regatta Park, where the breakfast celebration is being held. It's all sort of fuzzy in my head because I'm shaky and exhausted, But I'm also aware that I'm very, very happy. I'm surrounded by friends, by family, by my teammates and coach, and by warm, supportive strangers. They've all helped me in some way. They've all helped me in some way get over that finish line. But as we gather in Regatta Park and help ourselves to scrambled eggs, orange juice, and bagels, I realize something. That wasn't a finish line for me. 8 months ago, it was a 8 months ago, it was a Herculean effort to walk myself and my IV stand to the bathroom. Today, I ran my friend 10 miles across her first finish line. 8 months ago, I couldn't do anything. This race has made me believe that there's nothing I can't do. This is my new starting line. This is the end of the audiobook. You have reached the end of the audiobook. This was The Running Dream by Wendelin van Dranen. Mhm. Oh, oh, I didn't notice. All right, everyone, that's it for today. And by everyone, I mean one person. See you tomorrow. 수고했어요. 수고하셨습니다.